Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Betting Insights. I'm Timothy alongside Sergio. Sergio, welcome.
Hey Tim, hey everybody.
Yes, everybody, welcome back. Be sure to smash the like button, and also, if you're new to the show, be sure to subscribe. We are giving out free picks for 5 different club competitions across Europe: Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, Eredivisie, and the Premier League. Now, a couple of those competitions on winter break. Last week we only had two Serie A and Premier League, and this week still only Serie A and Premier League. And in Serie A, even less games because Inter, Atalanta, Juventus, AC Milan, they squared off yesterday and the day before for the Coppa Italia. So not a lot of games, but we'll get to them. So bit of press for time today. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. We are starting with the Premier League. First game on the schedule: Tottenham hosting Newcastle United. Tottenham wins set at 3.9. Newcastle wins set at 1.92. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, obviously, you got to take the over 3.5 here. Tottenham's defense is just absolutely trash at the moment. And listen, this line opened up a little bit higher for Newcastle. I think it was over 2-1, 2.4, something like that. Now it's dropped down all the way to 1.92. So I think that has a lot to do with the injuries on the Tottenham side and also money coming in on Newcastle. So, Sergio, what are you doing here?
Yeah, because Tottenham can't be trusted at the moment. They're playing at home. I think the odds speak for themselves. At almost 4-1 at home against Newcastle United. Yeah, so I know I would go for maybe a double chance Tottenham, but a win Newcastle. I think more people will consider that one. But and I think I'll join them. I'll just go for a Newcastle win. Tottenham is like you said, their defense is trash, and they keep conceding a lot of goals at in stupid ways also. So yeah, I'll just go for Newcastle.
Yeah, and I do trust Tottenham to at least score a goal, especially being at home, maybe even two. So that's why I like the over 3.5. If you look at the last 5 games, all four of the last five Tottenham games has seen over 3.5 goals. Um, of course, against Southampton, they won 5-0, but then again, that's Southampton. Against United, that can't score, they allowed 3 goals, allowed six against Liverpool, another two against Wolverhampton. So like I said, defense trash. I'm taking the over, but I also expect Newcastle to win this game. All right. Next up, Southampton hosting Brentford. Southampton wins set at 3.3. Brentford wins set at 2.28. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, something's got to give in this game. Brentford, they're still winless on the road, while Southampton, they've won a game, but basically they can't win games. So a team that can't win on the road against a team that can't win at all, which way are you going here?
I think I would just go for the one that's highest on the table, but it's Brentford. They're 12th. Yeah, look, they're just behind Tottenham. So yeah, maybe this will be their first away win. So yeah, I think Brentford has more has the opportunity to win this game. Yeah, Southampton is just really awful. Just 6 points, after what 19
Yeah, 19 games.
games. So yeah. So you can't go for Tottenham. You can't go for Southampton. So just go for the team that's just behind Tottenham and yeah, Brentford.
Yeah, but it's a disappointing season for Tottenham. Nonetheless, I'll agree with you on Brentford, but I'm looking at the over 2.5. Not great value, but I'm looking at the over 2.5. Southampton, they've allowed 39 goals, and Brentford, they've allowed 35 goals. And most of the goals, Brentford always allows goals on the road, basically. So I'm looking at the over 2.5, but I agree with you. If you got to pick one, you got to go for Brentford here. No way you can trust Southampton.
Uh,
All right. Next up, Bournemouth hosting Everton. Bournemouth wins set at 1.75. Everton wins set at 5.3. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, obviously, Bournemouth's the better team. We agree. Everton, they have issues, especially on the road, scoring goals. If you look at 4 of the last 5 road games, they have not scored a goal, but they also kind of limit their opponents to scoring goals, right? A draw against City, a draw against Arsenal, a draw against West Ham, and two out of those three were like 0-0 draws. So I think this will be another defensive approach for Everton. I'm not sure Bournemouth scores enough to keep them away. Maybe a draw, 1-1 draw, maybe even a 0-0 draw again. So what are you doing here?
Yeah, I think the over 2.5. I would go for the over 2.5. Like you said, I still think Brentford's gonna win. I mean, Bournemouth's gonna win because yeah, they're just uh, Everton. Yeah,
They're a
it's
better team. Yeah, they're the better team.
yeah, they're the better team. They had two draws the last two games. They haven't lost in six. So yeah, now it's against Everton. Everton is yeah not really that good. Just 17 points also after 18. I think they played 18 games. So yeah, it's just go for the number seven in this one. I think this one will be an easier one.
Yeah, and these teams already squared off this season. Bournemouth won 3-2 at Everton. Everton was up 2-0, and they just completely collapsed in the last 10 minutes of the game, allowing 3 goals. So not a good spot for Everton here going on the road now. All right. Next up, Villa hosting Leicester City. Villa wins set at 1.33. Leicester City wins set at 10. Line for total goals set at 3.5. Now, low value, so you may want to do a same game parlay here. Aston Villa win and both teams to score. But Leicester City, they switch coaches, won a game against West Ham. That's not trash, but not that good, at least this season. After that, a draw against Brighton, but now 4 straight losses where they've only scored 1 goal across those 4 games. So, not a good spot. And we had already said it. We don't really trust the coach. So Aston Villa win here, right?
Yeah, yeah, Aston Villa win, and I'm not even gonna, yeah, it's really low value for the Aston Villa win, and the over 3.5. No, Aston Villa, not a team that scores a lot in these kinds of games. So yeah, I would just skip this one.
Yeah, and that's why I said you can look to play a same game parlay. Aston Villa wins and both teams to score.
Mm.
Aston Villa, they've allowed more goals than they've scored, right? 31 allowed, 28 scored. So that also says something about their defense. Again, they should win this game against Leicester City, but Leicester City could get a goal here. So you want to play and spice things up. Aston Villa wins, both teams to score. All right. Next up, City hosting West Ham. City wins set at 1.29. West Ham wins set at 9.5. Time for the total goal set at 3.5. Now, last week, at least I put City on the bench, not betting on them for a while. They won against Leicester City, but like we just said, Leicester City is absolutely trash. So only winning 2-0 against Leicester City doesn't really tell me you've turned things around, right?
No, definitely not.
All right.
Definitely not.
So now you look at Manchester City. Most of the games they've lost were on the road. But if you look at home, they've lost against Tottenham 4-0, against United 2-1, and a draw against Everton. And you may say, all right, West Ham, not good. Tottenham, United should be better, right? But West Ham's higher than Manchester United in the standings, and they're only 1 point below Tottenham. So although I expect City to win this game, West Ham, they could give them some trouble here, right?
Mm. Yeah, and things are still not comfortable at the City. I think the team is still a little bit no, not at rest. Yeah, I think the Guardiola still doesn't know exactly how to turn things around. The game against Leicester City, I think that was just a lucky game for them in between the other ones. But against West Ham, it's gonna be a different story, and maybe I would even go for a double chance West Ham.
Yeah, that's obviously something to try. Like you said, City being at home, you kind of expect them to win, but West Ham in the same boat as a Tottenham team that actually trashed City at City, and they're above United, who also won at City. So that won't be a crazy bet. All
Uh,
right. Next up, Crystal Palace hosting Chelsea. Palace wins set at 3.9. Chelsea wins set at 2. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, three straight games without a win for Chelsea. So they have to turn things around. I think this is a good spot for them. These teams already met up this season at Chelsea, of course. Now Chelsea's on the road, but still, it was a 1-1 draw. But Chelsea pretty much dominated that game, right? Expected goals over to 63% ball possessions, 13 shots, while Crystal Palace had in expected goals of 0.5 and 37% ball possession. So I know Chelsea's on the road, but they're desperate for points, can't drop any more points. So I'm going for the Chelsea win here. What are you doing?
Yeah, Chelsea win, I agree. And the first game they played against each other, I think it was round three. So yeah, Chelsea wasn't the team that they are now. I mean, okay, they lost two in a row. Yeah, against Ipswich Town, I think that was you know,
Yeah,
the
kind of a
most
hiccup.
embarrassing one of the two. But
Yeah, it was kind of a hiccup, but Ipswich Town, they've also been giving some big teams a lot of trouble. But we'll get to Ipswich Town in a couple minutes, right?
yeah, but I agree. I would just go for a Chelsea win here. Crystal Palace, yeah, not one of the the easiest teams at home, but still not winning in three games. That's yeah, not the Chelsea we've seen the last I think 10 games or so. So yeah, I would uh I would just go for a Chelsea win.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Next up, Brighton hosting Arsenal. Brighton wins set at 4.75. Arsenal wins set at 1.86. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, another game where second time these teams are meeting up for this season. First game, a 1-1 draw at Arsenal. But listen, man, Arsenal was pretty much dominating that game. They were up 1-0 at the half until Declan Rice took that stupid second yellow card. Like both yellow cards were just absolutely stupid, right? Before the half and immediately after the half. Then Brighton kind of took over the game, made it somewhat competitive, and it 1-1. So Arsenal still the better team, but now they're on the road and they're without Saka. Now they've won the last couple of games without Saka, so looks like they can handle his absence, but still this is a tough spot going on the road without one of your best players. What are you doing here?
Yeah, and also against Brighton, I think Brighton. Okay, they also haven't won in six, but still, if a team like Arsenal comes to visit, they are yeah, it's another motivation.
Yeah, and actually Brighton they haven't won in 7, but only 2 losses. So they're not losing a lot of games.
No, but yeah, a lot of draws, and
Yeah.
Arsenal. I think Arsenal is a team that's really sensitive for teams that draw a lot. So yeah, and especially if they're playing away. So yeah, I would just go for also a double chance here for Brighton. Um, Arsenal, yeah, I don't trust them that much. They won what, like four in a row, and yeah, and I think for Arsenal this season, that's already a lot.
Yeah,
So
4-0 is kind of their peak.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, double chance Brighton again.
Yeah, Arsenal hasn't won 5 in a row this season, and this is the second time they've won 4 in a row. And the last time they won 4 in a row, the next game it was a draw at Fulham. So I can agree with everything you said. I'm looking more at the over 2.5 because I do expect goals in this game. Brighton haven't won in like 7, so at home they should score goals here. Arsenal they should do something to keep up with Brighton scoring goals. So I'm looking at the over 2.5, but double chance for Brighton. I won't disagree with that. All right. Next up, Fulham hosting Ipswich. Fulham wins set at 1.6. Ipswich wins set at 6.1. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, obviously, you would say Fulham's the better team here, right? But for some reason, Ipswich, they just surprise against some of the better teams. They won against Tottenham, a draw against United, the win against Wolves, but Wolves not that great. And then another win against Chelsea, also a draw against Aston Villa, a draw against Brighton. So although Ipswich is just very, very low in the standings, actually fighting for relegation. They do seem to give some teams trouble. So what are you doing here?
Yeah, Ipswich last time out they won against Chelsea, and that was a surprise for everyone. And you know what happens if a team flies that high one weekend, and especially a team like Ipswich Town. So actually, I'm seeing a very easy win for Fulham this weekend. So yeah, just going for Fulham.
All right. That should be the play here. Ipswich now going on the road, like I said, coming off a high, good letdown spot. All right. Next up, Liverpool hosting United. Liverpool win set at 1.3. United win set at 9.5. Line for total goal set at 3.5. Now, there was a time where this should have been an interesting game. Not anymore. So, will this game be over by halftime?
Uh, I believe so. Yes. I think it would be definitely over by halftime. So maybe halftime, full time.
Yeah, for Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
United just absolutely awful at the moment. Four straight losses, three straight they haven't even scored a goal, and not against some of the most stellar competition, right? Against Bournemouth, against Wolves, and against Newcastle. I guess Newcastle's in good form, but still, Wolves and Bournemouth. How do you not score goals? And two out of those games were at home. So now you go on the road against one of the best defensive teams in the league,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm not sure how many goals they're scoring. Maybe they'll get one, but not more than that. Liverpool should just rout in this game, right?
Yeah, and also even the Manchester United fans are saying that, oh man, this game cannot be televised. It's it
Yeah,
would be it's gonna be a massacre. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch the game. I think it will definitely be maybe a 5 or 6-0 maybe, but we'll see. And the over 3.5, that's even possible. So
yeah,
Salah wants to. He's in top form at the moment. So I think he wants to become the top scorer in the league. So
yeah.
man, Liverpool over 3.5.
Obviously high motivation for Salah. I agree, and like we agree on this game, right? It should be an easy win for Liverpool.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Wolves hosting Nottingham Forest. Wolves win set at 3.45. Forest win set at 2.28. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, Monday games, not our favorite day of the week to place bets, but Nottingham Forest, five straight wins. Wolves, they seem to have turned things around. They haven't lost yet under the new coach. Um, two straight wins, then a draw. So out of the last three games, they haven't lost. And they've, aside from Leicester City, the other two teams were solid teams, not on Nottingham Forest level, but still solid teams. So good results. Who are you trusting here?
I'm trusting the over 2.5. Yeah, Nottingham Forest, still one of the teams that think, yeah, they're standing that high, but how long are they gonna, keep this up? So at Wolves away on a Monday, yeah, I'm just gonna play it safe and just go for the over 2.5. I think that's a good bet at 1.98.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. You would look at Nottingham Forest and say, all right, they've only allowed 19 goals, so obviously a good defensive team. But if you look at on the road, the last two games they haven't allowed a goal. Both two Nottingham wins against Brentford and Everton. But before that, three straight games where they've allowed at least two goals. And two out of three they've allowed three goals. So on the road they should allow goals here. A Wolves team that seem to have found new life under their coach. So Wolves should get on the scoreboard. I agree with you. Over 2.5. That should be the player.
Yeah.
All right. That wraps up the Premier League. Let's get to Serie A. First game, Venezia hosting Empoli. Venezia wins set at 2.55. Empoli wins set at 3.25. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, I'm looking at a double chance for Empoli in this spot. I still think Empoli is in a little bit better. I know three straight losses. So kind of they don't seem to be in that great of form. But if you look at before this losing stretch, they had only lost 4 games, and 3 out of those 4 games were against Lazio, Napoli, Inter, and the fourth one was against AC Milan. So kind of 4 good teams. I know AC Milan fired their coach; they have a new coach, but still a good team, right? So
Mm.
aside from this stretch, they've actually played solid. I would say better than Venezia. So I'm looking at a double chance for Empoli here. What are you doing?
Yeah, double chance for Empoli. Yeah, I would agree, but yeah, I'm actually gonna skip this game. I'm seeing more of a draw type of game here, so yeah, I'm actually gonna skip this one.
Listen, not a bad, not bad to skip these types of games. All right, I would agree with you. So obviously, also in a game I'm not going heavy on, but if I were to make a bet, it would be a double chance for Empoli. They're the better team. No, they're on the road, but still. All right. Next up, Fiorentina hosting Napoli. Fiorentina wins 3.05. Napoli wins set at 2.6. Line for total goal set at 2.5. Now, you would look at this game and say, all right, Napoli, the better team, right? But Fiorentina, because there's like 9 points difference in the standings. Napoli 41 points, Fiorentina 32. But if you look at Fiorentina's goal difference, it doesn't. It's not that much different from Napoli. 31 goals scored, 15 allowed, while Napoli has scored 27 and 12 allowed. And if you look at Napoli on the road, at least against good teams, they've kind of struggled, right? They lost against Lazio, a 1-1 draw against Inter, where they basically got outplayed, 0-0 draw against Juventus, and the only good team they actually beat on the road was AC Milan. And even in that game, they barely had the ball, 39% ball possession, expected goals just over 1. So I'm looking at a double chance for Fiorentina here. But I do expect Fiorentina to win this game. So I'm also going to sprinkle something on just a win for Fiorentina. What are you doing?
No, I'm not that sure. I'm going the other way. I'm going for the Napoli. Well, Fiorentina is, one of those teams that they sometimes win against good teams at home. They're strong at home, yeah, but still against Napoli. No, I think it's not. They're not in that form at the moment to to beat Napoli. Napoli, the striker, let's say Lukaku, the 16 games, I think something like 6 goals still, so you can't count too much on him. But still, Fiorentina, no, I would just go for Napoli.
And just remember, Napoli, they will be without 2 important players, Cravacella and Politano. So that should give you some concern. So I understand Napoli not Fiorentina not in great form, 4 straight games without a win. But now you come home after a 2-2 draw against Juventus. That should give you some confidence. You go home, you host Napoli. I think this is a good spot for them to at least pick up a point again and even win the game outright.
Yeah, but they lost the game against Udinese. They were playing at home.
Yeah, but that was like their first slip up at home. I know they also lost against Empoli, but that was in the Coppa Italia. The loss against Udinese was the only home loss this season, and this man before that they had won like what 6, 7 straight at home. So they're very good at home. All right. Let's get to the next game. Verona hosting Udinese. Verona wins set at 3.15. Udinese wins set at 2.6. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Not really a game I'm that much interested in betting. What are you doing here?
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you on this one. This is also one of the games like Venezia and Empoli. Yeah, I'm just gonna, took a blind eye and just skip this one also.
Yeah, Udinese is the better team, so but obviously a draw very likely here. And if you would play a double chance for Udinese, they're the favorite, so a double chance would really give you low value. So that's why I'm not really looking to make a play here. Both teams kind of score at the same clip, 23 goals, 24 goals, but Verona a much worse defense. It's going to be hard trusting Udinese going on the road and really outscoring Verona here. So kind of a draw. All right. Next up, Monza hosting Cagliari. Monza wins set at 2.45. Cagliari wins set at 3.15. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Listen, man, I don't know if this game's worse than the first one or the last one. I think it's worse. Both teams 5 straight losses. Monza they just can't seem to buy a win. While Cagliari also just struggling. One win, I think in the last was it 12 games, barely scoring goals. So what are you doing here?
Yeah. What am I doing? I don't think I'm doing a lot. Yeah, you have absolutely no idea which way to go here. These two teams, they don't score a lot. Even if they play against each other, it's not that spicy on goals. So yeah, this is another game where I'm just gonna, you know, let it slide. Just skip it.
Yeah, and the defense is not great, but not horrendous. So Monza, they've only allowed 25 goals. For a team that's at the bottom, that's not a lot of goals. And you look at Cagliari, allowed 31 goals, but both teams, they've scored 16 goals this season. So averaging under 1 goal a game. You can't trust them to score goals. So if there's a play to make, it's the under 2.5 goals, right?
Yeah. I think there you have the biggest chance of accomplishing something.
All right. Now, I don't know if this game, like I already said it once, but this game, Lecce hosting Genoa. Lecce wins set at 2.75. Genoa wins set at 2.95. Line total goal set at 2.5. Now, the over 2.5 is set at 2.48. Under 2.5 goals, 1.52. And a draw is set at 3.05. So win Lecce 275, draw 305, win Genoa 295. So how are you picking this game?
I think I'll just go for Lecce.
You're going
Yeah,
for Lecce?
yeah, but that's only because they're playing at home. The difference between them is just 3 points. Genoa, okay, they had an away win against what was it, Empoli the
Napoli,
last
yeah.
time. Yeah, against Empoli. Yeah, so I don't know. Lecce won against Monza at home, and I think Monza and Genoa around the same. So yeah, I would only because they're playing at home. I don't know. I would just go for Lecce.
Listen, man, Lecce, they score less than Genoa and they allow more than Genoa. Lecce, they've scored 11 goals in 18 games. So how are you trusting them to score goals? I know Genoa's not that much better, but Genoa, they've only lost 1 game in the last 8. That was against Napoli. I know not too many wins, 3 wins and then 4 draws. So not too many wins, but a double chance for Genoa should be the play here. I'm not sure how you can expect Lecce to um, score enough to win a game. 11 goals across 18 games. That's just pretty bad, man.
Yeah, but a 1-0 is enough to win a game. So
Yeah, so they would have to basically shut out Genoa. Well, if that's what you think, then you should take the under 2.5 goals. That's also a play to make. Like I said, Lecce, they allow like they've allowed 31 goals, but they scored 11 in 18, and Genoa also scored 16 in 18. So both teams under 1 goal a game. The other teams in Serie A look to be in under 1 goal a game. So the under 2.5, that should be a play here.
yeah, but this game, the team that scores first is gonna win.
Might
So
win the game. Yeah. All right. Next up, Torino hosting Parma. Torino wins set at 1.88. Parma wins set at 4.7. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, another game. Two teams kind of close to each other. Only 2 points separates them in the table. But at least these teams can score. Torino over 1 goal a game, and Parma also over 1 goal a game. Both teams are also allowing over 1 goal a game. Parma 34 goals allowed. So over 2.5. I'm looking at that play here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. I would just go for the over 2.5. This is also one of these games that you really you can't pick one. Torino, the home team, maybe, yeah, but still, the over 2.5 is more interesting for me.
Yeah, I would also lean more towards Torino, the home team. And the odds kind of tell you they're heavily favored, even though only 2 points separates them in the table. Now, Torino, they haven't scored in 3 out of the last 4 home games, but those were against some good defensive opponents, Bologna, Napoli, and Fiorentina. Obviously, the Parma is not shutting out Torino, so that's why I'm looking at the over 2.5 in this game. All right. Last game, Roma hosting Lazio. Roma wins set at 2.63. Lazio wins set at 3.05. Line for total goals set at 2.5. Now, I'm not sure. I know this is derby, so always crazy things can happen. Not so sure why Roma's favored in this game. I still think Lazio is better. They've been better across the season. And even with Roma switching their coaches, I'm not sure Roma has really figured things out. Not really that impressed with what I saw against AC Milan last week. So I'm looking at Lazio here. But if you look at the head-to-head matchup between these two teams, 5 straight games where we've seen 1 goal or less. So that's a concern, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's a real concern. But I think Roma is in a better position than than let's say 8, 9 games ago. Um, the last 6 they just lost one, and one draw against Milan. So this derby, yeah, can maybe become an interesting one. So, like you said, Lazio is still a little bit better, but I think that's it, and it doesn't really matter in games like this. So I would just lean towards Roma, and that's only because they're playing at home.
Yeah, you okay. I agree with you that Roma, if you look at the last what's it, 7 games, or no, is it 6 games, right? 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. But if you look at the wins, man, against Lecce, all right, I guess. Against Braga, all right, I guess. Against Sampdoria, all right, I guess. Against Parma, I know they trashed Parma 5-0, but all right, I guess. Lazio is much, much better than all of those 4 teams, maybe combined. Just joking. But listen, man, Lazio much better. So derby, crazy things can happen, but my leans towards Lazio. I expect them to win this game. All right, that wraps up now our all picks and leans for this weekend. Like we already said, only 2 competitions active this weekend, so not a lot of picks I like. I have 3 bets I like. I have Chelsea for a win, Brighton Arsenal over 2.5, Aston Villa win, and both teams to score. And the Serie A, I have just leaned towards a Fiorentina win and Lazio to win. What do you have?
Yeah, for me in the Premier League it's also the same. I just have like Newcastle. I like a lot, and Brentford and Bournemouth, Chelsea of course, like you said, and in the Serie A, I would still just go for a Napoli win, and a lean towards Roma, and yeah, I believe Lecce is gonna win this weekend.
All right. Now that wraps up all picks and leans. And like we always say, guys, bet smart, bet with your head, set your limits, and stay within your means. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, good weekend, everybody.